The autumn nights in Ravenwood were crisp, the kind that made your breath catch and your heart ache for something you couldn't name. For 4 years I'd been Ethan Caldwell's shadow lover, held in his arms each night as we drifted to sleep. His warmth was a constant, his embrace a cage. Yet he never touched me beyond that. Not once. Then she came back. Lily Evans, the girl with doe-like eyes and a presence that unraveled everything. She stood behind Ethan, her gaze soft but piercing, and I felt the ground shift beneath me. A bitter smile curved my lips as I looked at him. "Ethan," I said, my voice steady, "we're done." Every night when I felt his arms slide around my waist in the dark, I'd jolt awake, my mind racing back to that day 4 years ago. I was one of many young women, all beautiful, all desperate, standing in 3 neat rows in a dimly lit room. Black-clad bodyguards flanked us, their presence heavy, the air thick with tension. We were there for one reason: Ethan Caldwell, the man who could change our lives or ruin them. A murmur rippled through the group. "Mr. Caldwell's here." And the girls around me surged forward, clawing for position. I wasn't quick enough. Someone shoved me and I stumbled, my leg crashing into a table corner. Pain flared. An old wound on my shin, barely healed, split open. I hissed, clutching my leg as the crowd parted like a tide. There he was. Ethan, dressed in black, his face a study in cruel beauty, sharp jawline, lips pressed thin, eyes that seemed to strip you bare. He lounged against the wall, his gaze locked on me, a faint smirk playing at his mouth. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice low, almost teasing. "Sarah. Sarah Lynn." I stammered my real name, Samantha Lynn. Buried deep where no one could find it. He stepped closer, the faint scent of tobacco and cedar cologne curling around him. His eyes, dark and mischievous, held mine as he extended a hand. "Get up. Let me see you." I hesitated for a heartbeat, then placed my hand in his. The room burned with jealous stares, but his touch was warm, strong, pulling me to my feet until I stood inches from him. Our breaths mingled, my cheeks flushed. He laughed, a sound like velvet and sin, his eyes crinkling with a charm that felt dangerous. "You're the one, little sparrow. Want to come with me?" I lowered my gaze, then let a shy, eager smile bloom. "Yes, sir." Ethan's penthouse in the heart of Ravenwood was a glass and steel palace, its balcony offering a view of the city's glittering skyline. On the drive there he'd leaned against the car window, lost in thought, his fingers tapping the seat. Then out of nowhere he'd grinned, all white teeth and boyish charm. "Want a milkshake, Sparrow?" I shook my head, but he just chuckled and sent his assistant to fetch one. When it arrived, he tested the cup's temperature before passing it to me, his fingers brushing mine. I reached for it, but he held on, his eyes glinting. "Go on," he murmured. I leaned forward, sipping through the straw, feeling his gaze like a weight. His hand found my hair, fingers weaving through it as if I were a pet he'd decided to keep. At the penthouse he strode ahead, his laughter echoing as he tugged my hand. "Keep up," he teased, draping his jacket over my shoulders. The staff lined up, bowing. "Welcome home, Mr. Caldwell, Miss Lynn." Home. The word felt hollow. I followed, my face blank, as they led me to a suite to wash and change. Then I was brought to his bedroom. I knocked, nerves prickling. The door swung open, revealing Ethan, his eyes bright and hazy, the faintest flush at his temples. He looked like a fallen angel, all sharp edges and soft promises. "Come in," he said, stepping aside. The room smelled faintly of smoke, a cigarette smoldering in an ashtray. I glanced at it and he followed my gaze, rubbing my head. "Don't like the smell? Fine. I'll quit." I hadn't said a word, but he meant it. From that day, no trace of tobacco was allowed in the penthouse. I too had to quit my pack-a-day habit cold. He disappeared into the bathroom, returning with damp hair and a towel slung over his shoulder. Before I could move, his arm hooked my waist, pulling me against him. His eyes darkened, fingers grazing my side, his lips inching closer. I turned my face away, wrapping my arms around him instead. "Let's just sleep, Mr. Caldwell." He froze, then exhaled softly against my cheek. "All right," he said, his voice gentle. He carried me to the bed, tucking me in and held me through the night. Nothing more. He slept lightly, stirring at my smallest movements. I lay still, back to him, afraid to disturb the fragile peace. At dawn I woke to his shallow breathing. When I shifted, he chuckled, voice rough with sleep. "Morning, Sparrow." His eyes, warm and deep, caught mine. My arm's numb from you sleeping on it, he teased, pouting. Sorry, I mumbled, starting to rise. He pulled me back, grinning. A kiss will fix it. Before I could protest, his lips brushed mine, soft and fleeting, stealing my breath. Ethan treated me like a treasure, taking me everywhere. Business meetings, galas, late-night drives. At his company, I was the favored assistant. At home, the staff called me Miss Lin with careful respect. Not a sister, not a wife, just a lover with no real name. They whispered about him, how he turned away countless women, his heart untouched. But with me he was different. At a gala when a brand manager seated me too far from him, he'd pulled me to his side, his voice icy as he dismissed the man. You can leave. The seat was mine. When men offered me drinks, he'd block them with a glare, then turn to me, his eyes soft but sharp. Sarah, you know how to say no, don't you? I nodded and he leaned closer, whispering, Good. Don't take anything from anyone but me. His fingers toyed with mine, a quiet claim. Once in a parking garage, a rising actress approached him, blushing, offering her card. Ethan barely glanced at her. Sorry, my wife's strict. No other women. Wife. I stared, stunned, as did she. He squeezed my hand, muttering, She's trying to steal me and you say nothing? Flustered, I blurted, He's mine. No one else. The actress fled, and Ethan's smile was all warmth. Good girl, he said, stroking my hair. He spoiled me rotten. If I mentioned a craving, it appeared. If I sighed, he noticed. People said he'd put me on a pedestal, that he'd pluck stars from the sky if I asked. And I let them believe it. Then Lily knocked on the penthouse door. I was descending the staircase, a bowl of fruit in hand, when I saw her. A delicate girl in a white dress, her face a mirror of mine, only younger, softer. The bowl slipped, shattering on the floor. My hands shook. She was me, but not me. Ethan was away on business, but the news of Lily's return brought him racing back. I stood frozen on the stairs as he burst in, eyes wild, and pulled her into his arms. Lily, he murmured, you're back. No one will hurt you again. My chest burned, but I said nothing, retreating to my room. Hours later, he appeared in the doorway. Sarah, he said, his voice flat. I hummed in response. He hesitated, then spoke. Lily wants your room. I met his gaze, his eyes red with guilt. Fine, I said, forcing a smile. It's probably too dirty for her anyway. I'll pack. He stepped forward, offering to help, and we cleared the room in silence. My eyes fell on the plush toys he'd brought me from his trips. Forgot those, I said, reaching for them. No, he said, his voice hollow. Lily likes them. The truth hit like a blade. I was her stand-in, a placeholder for his guilt, his longing. Every kindness, every touch, it was for her. For a week, I watched from my new room as Lily clung to Ethan's arm, her laughter filling the spaces I'd once occupied. He followed her, his eyes soft, while I faded into the background, no longer Miss Lin but a ghost in my own life. One evening I heard Ethan's new sports car pull into the courtyard, followed by their laughter. The staff set the table, but no one called me. In my room I painted my face with bold makeup, crimson lips, smoky eyes, and slipped into a red, off-shoulder dress Ethan despised. The mirror showed a woman carved from defiance, all curves and fire. Lily was his pure angel. I was the filth he'd never touch. I dialed Caleb Quinn, a rising actor I'd met at a dinner. He'd been bold, his interests clear, but Ethan's presence had kept him at bay. I'd memorized his number despite Ethan's orders to delete it. Caleb's family rivaled Ethan's, their influence spanning both legitimate and shadowy worlds. Miss Lin, Caleb purred, his voice a velvet taunt. Finally remembered me? I've been thinking of you, I shot back. Haven't you missed me? He laughed. You know I have. Name the time and place. Grand Haven, 8 o'clock, I said, naming Ethan's exclusive club, the place where he'd first chosen me. At dinner, Ethan noticed my absence and sent for me. I descended the stairs, heels clicking, the red dress clinging to me like a dare. His eyes widened, then narrowed. Sarah, what are you wearing? Don't you like it, darling? I teased, using the pet name he'd once asked me to call him. I sat beside him, ignoring Lily's coughs from my perfume. I think red suits me. Change, he snapped, his voice tight. Why? I leaned closer, brushing my lips against his ear. You're blushing, darling. Lily's cry broke the moment, and Ethan shoved me back, furious. Sarah. Boring. I sighed, standing. I'm meeting friends. Don't wait up. Where are you going? He demanded, but I was already gone, knowing he'd send someone to follow. Good. Let him see. Grand Haven was a playground for the elite, its doors open only to those with millions to burn. I arrived by taxi, and the guard, recognizing me, waved me in. At the bar, I downed a glass of red wine, letting a drop linger on my lips before licking it away, my eyes scanning the men watching me. Without Ethan, I could smile freely, but none dared approach. They knew I was his, except I wasn't. Lily was. The private lounge was all dark elegance. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, the air heavy with incense. Caleb lounged on a sofa, his presence magnetic. His eyes as captivating as Ethan's, but sharper, hungrier. Where Ethan was a storm disguised as a breeze, Caleb was a wildfire, unapologetic and consuming. Miss Lynn, he drawled. It's been too long. I tugged my neckline lower and sat beside him. Don't you miss me, Caleb? His gaze darkened, and in a flash, he pinned me to the sofa, his laugh low and dangerous. No more playing innocent? His fingers toyed with my hair, his lips hovering close. You're more breathtaking than any woman I've met. I smiled coolly. Flattery's nice, but it doesn't tie me down. Too many admirers, he teased. I hooked my arms around his neck, whispering, maybe, but tonight's just for fun, Caleb. No strings. His body tensed. So I'm just a fling? I laughed. Unless you're confessing true love? He pulled me close, then sat back, his smirk returning. You wound me, Sarah. I leaned in, taunting. What's wrong? Scared of Ethan. Ethan. His laugh was sharp. He's nothing. He pulled me onto his lap, his grip firm. I don't fear him. His kiss was fierce, claiming, softening only when I melted into it. When he pulled back, his grin was wicked. Don't doubt a man who wants you. We moved to the dance floor, the lights swirling around us. I spotted Ethan instantly, Lily at his side. His eyes found mine, then Caleb's hand in mine, and fury twisted his face. He stormed over. Sarah, you're here with him? I squeezed Caleb's hand, smiling. I told you I was meeting friends, darling. Not here. Not with him. Ethan snapped. Caleb sneered. You're one to talk, slumming with her. He nodded at Lily. Let Sarah find real love. Love. Ethan's laugh was bitter. Is he your love, Sarah? Before I could answer, Lily rushed forward, clinging to Ethan. Don't fight with Sarah. Her eyes flickered to Caleb, wide with awe. I realized she was a fan. Caleb's snort said he noticed too. Lily, go, Ethan said, his voice strained. She protested, and I laughed, the sound raw and broken. Ethan glared. What's so funny? I met Lily's tearful eyes. Just admiring Lily's talent for manipulation. Memories of my brother, Nathan, flooded back. Brilliant, charismatic, the youngest tech mogul in Ravenwood. He'd adored Lily, dimmed his light for her, and paid the ultimate price. She'd let him die to save herself, and Ethan had covered it up, leaving Nathan's bones to rot while Lily danced free. My laughter turned manic, tears burning. Caleb patted my back, confused but steady. Ethan's voice was ice. Apologize, Sarah. Caleb stepped forward. You and your sniveling princess don't deserve her laughter. Want her to cry instead. Ethan lunged, but Caleb was faster, knocking him down with a single blow. The crowd gasped. I grabbed Caleb's arm. Stop. He softened, pulling me close. Fine for you. As we turned to leave, Ethan staggered up. Where are you going? I smirked. Somewhere fun. You don't care, do you? Lily's here. A waiter stumbled, splashing wine on my dress. Caleb draped his coat over me, glaring at Lily, who stood too close to the incident. I caught her eye and she looked away. In the bathroom, Lily confronted me, her mask gone. Leave Ethan. Name your price. I peeled off Caleb's coat, revealing the wine-stained dress. You think you know what Ethan wants? I tore the fabric, exposing my chest. He wants this. Lily's screams echoed as she called me vile, but I just smiled, untouchable. Later, on the penthouse balcony, Caleb stood beside me. Going back? Yes, I said, my voice steady. Why? He asked, pained. You're not happy there. I turned to him, eyes burning. Do you know what it's like to hate someone so much you'd kill them? I want to destroy him, Caleb. I want him in hell. He nodded slowly. That penthouse Ethan lives in? It was auctioned 5 years ago. The previous owner. His name was Lin. I smiled, tears falling. Nathan Lin. My brother. Caleb pulled me into his arms, his touch gentle. I know the story. Nathan, the tech prodigy, tortured in prison for someone else's crime. The mastermind deserves to die. He will, I whispered. I'm his shadow. I'll tear him apart from the inside. Back at the penthouse, Ethan sat on my bed, surrounded by cigarette butts. Did you sleep with him? He demanded. I ignored him, opening a window. It stinks. Sarah. He grabbed my wrist, eyes blazing. I quit smoking for you and you drive me back to it. I smiled sweetly. Oh, your question? No, we didn't sleep together. His tension eased, but I leaned closer. We just kissed. A lot. And he's better at it than you. His face twisted. He grabbed a cloth, wiping my lips until they bled. Don't look at me like that, he murmured, kissing me. I shoved him away. You're disgusting, Ethan. Disgusting? And you're not kissing him? He roared. Yes, I'm filthy, I spat. But even I find you repulsive. He stayed, holding me tighter than ever. I bit his arm, tasting blood. You can't keep me, I hissed. I'll leave you. Never, he whispered, burying his face in my neck. Ethan's control tightened. He kept me at his side, a prisoner in plain sight. If I left his sight, he paused meetings, sent assistants to watch me. In the car, I caught Lily's jealous glares and leaned into Ethan, cooing, You're so sweet, darling. He ate it up, buckling my seatbelt himself. At dinners, he fed me, ignoring Lily's tears. I played along, opening my mouth for him, my eyes locked on hers. He thought I was his again, his gaze dripping with affection. One night during a late meeting, he let me go home. But Lily was waiting. Sacked and bound, I was dragged to a derelict warehouse. Her heels ground into my scalp. Feel good, Sarah? Better than Ethan's touch. I laughed through the pain. Not bad. She tore off the sack, slapping me until my face swelled. Look at you, a whore who thinks she can replace me. You're nothing but a substitute. She kicked my knee and I collapsed, my stomach seizing with old pain. I bit back screams, thinking of Nathan, tortured for her. You think I want to stay? I rasped. Ethan's the one who won't let me go. She sneered, gesturing to the men behind her. Have fun, boys. She's disposable. My hatred crystallized. Disposable. Like Nathan. As the men approached, the warehouse doors burst open. Caleb stormed in, a vengeful god, dispatching them with brutal precision. He draped his coat over me, his voice soft but lethal. I'll make them wish for death. He turned to Ethan, who'd arrived, eyes red. Lily sobbed, accusing me. Ethan ignored her, reaching for me, but Caleb was faster. You don't deserve to touch her, he snarled. Make Lily pay or I will. In Caleb's private hospital, Ethan visited, working from my bedside. Comfortable, Mr. CEO? I teased. I just want to be with you, he said, pained. Lily's gone. I made her pay. I laughed, tears falling. Pay? You'd never hurt her. You let my brother die for her. His face crumpled. Sarah, I swear, I'll protect you now. Protect me. I screamed. Lily tried to kill me, and you still choose her. Caleb appeared, flowers in hand. She told you to leave, Ethan. He grinned. Oh, and Lily's in a brothel now, sick. Nice work. Ethan ran out and Caleb sat beside me, tucking me in. I showed him a USB drive. Got it. A month later, Caldwell Enterprises collapsed, projects failing, debt soaring. In the boardroom, Caleb humiliated Ethan, offering a buyout. Police stormed in, arresting Ethan for smuggling and Nathan's death. I stepped forward. It was me. I reported you. Ethan's eyes widened. Sarah. My name isn't Sarah. It's Samantha Lynn. Nathan Lynn was my brother. His face shattered as I held up a burned letter. This is Lily's plea for Nathan to take her place. You promised to save him, but you killed him. He collapsed, broken. In prison, he wrote to me, but I burned his letters. He'd taken everything, my family, my innocence. No apology could fix that. With Caleb's help, I reclaimed Nathan's old house. Standing in what was once his study, I traced the walls. Nathan raised me after our parents died, I told Caleb. He shielded me from the world. Caleb held me. I'm here now. I'll protect you. That month of ruin wasn't just business. Caleb had stayed away, fighting his own battle. His father, a ruthless tycoon, had mocked his love for me a weakness. Caleb had knelt, defiant, and carved his chest, vowing to give me only purity. On New Year's Eve, Caleb's empire opened to the public. He married me, the girl he'd loved since we were 9. 3 years later, our daughter Nora was born. Lily's epilogue. Lily never imagined she'd catch Nathan Lynn's eye. At a school track meet, she bumped into him, his scent clean and warm. He steadied her, his eyes like dawn. "You okay?" he asked, smiling. She blushed, memorizing his name. Nathan Lynn, number 23. They met again in the principal's office, her failing grades under scrutiny. Nathan, the star student, noticed her shame and offered to tutor her. "Free lessons," he teased, his smile irresistible. He was her light, patient and kind, always there to catch her. But she betrayed him, asking him to take her place in a crime. He agreed and she let him die. Now in a filthy brothel, her body broken, Lily remembered his smile. "Nathan," she whispered, "take me with you." In her final moment, she saw him, young and radiant, reaching for her. She smiled, closing her eyes, and followed.